Good afternoon. I'm Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times. It's Wednesday, June 15th. Let's start today's news roundup with another cheer for the Hogs, woo pig, or maybe this time, woo pig. I talked yesterday about the proposal before the University of Arkansas Board of Trustees tomorrow for a $160 million stadium and athletic department office expansion at Fayetteville. It seems likely to pass, so former Senator David Pryor has expressed some reservations about spending this amount of money. There was a new wrinkle today in this story. 5 former members of the University of Arkansas Board of Trustees, notably including poultry magnate John Tyson, have written an op-ed first appearing in the Northwest Arkansas Democrat-Gazette, but also on the Arkansas Times blog this morning, saying this is not the time for this kind of expenditure on the University of Arkansas campus. It's a campus that's seen a tuition increase, that has seen a decline in state support, that has some of the lowest faculty salaries in the country, that has facilities of the academic sort that are in need of help. Is this really the time, particularly when you've got a football stadium that rarely sells out already, to have a $160 million expansion? These former Board of Trustees members say it's not. They also take some gigs at Athletic Director Jeff Long for wanting to have super ritzy offices and even private parking so he won't have to get wet when he walks from his car to his new fancy office. Tough words. We'll see if it has any impact tomorrow on the UA Board of Trustees. Yesterday, a committee of the Arkansas Legislature continued its anti-gay ways, approving a rule that gives psychiatric counselors a way out of treating people that they disagree with. Essentially, that is, they won't have to treat gay people if this is offensive to their so-called religion. You know, this is just one of many bits of legislation that we're going to see in the years ahead as the legislature tries to carve out some supposedly conscience or religious exception to dealing with gay people. Already, though, the law in Arkansas allows blatant discrimination in hiring, employment, and public accommodations. You'd think they could have waited to another week to pass another piece of anti-gay legislation, however, given that this occurs in a week of a slaughter of gay people in Florida, apparently because they were indeed gay. News from the political front includes the fact that the nursing homes of Arkansas have already spent $250,000 to $300,000 raised just to get on the ballot an amendment that makes it very hard to sue over nursing home negligence. And if the nursing homes have their way, they'll pass an amendment that says no matter how much an old person suffers, if there are no economic damages to show that is loss of income, your life isn't worth more than $250,000, and out of that can come a 33% contingency fee for a lawyer. This will shut the door to the courthouse for unspeakable neglect in nursing homes and other medical institutions, but it's heading to the ballot. You can expect millions to be spent on advertising to mislead you about what this amendment is about should it reach the ballot. Tom Cotton's getting a little blowback even from his own party. He made a remark to the New Yorker that Latinos really don't care about Donald Trump's anti-immigration stance. They're worried about other issues. Well, he's been pretty well ripped for that point of view, but then he also went to Mitt Romney's political gathering and didn't compare favorably against Nebraska Senator Ben Sasse, according to the National Review, which is a conservative organization. Tom Cotton, who talks tall about just about everything else and is ready to use military force at the drop of a hat, is standing silent on Donald Trump. Ben Sasse is not. He sees him as an existential threat to what republicanism stands for. You know, they say you need to stand up and be counted in tough times. So far, Tom Cotton won't be counted on Donald Trump. Maybe this is because he still wants to be on the Trump ticket. We shall see. The American Medical Association has adopted a resolution that says gun deaths, are a public health crisis in America. They're not calling for bans on guns, but they want at least to resume research on guns, perhaps to lead to safer guns and more safety. You know, it's worked for cars. We have a lower fatality rate on the highway now, but we haven't had to ban cars. The Centers for Disease Control, despite an executive order from President Obama, is still afraid to do gun research. It's afraid even to talk about it. The gun nuts and the gun lobby and the NRA are so powerful that we won't do something as elemental as seeing if maybe we could produce safer guns. Not keep them out of criminals' hands, of course, but just make them safer when they are in people's hands. The Little Rock police announced this morning there were 2 arrests in the robbery of the Simmons Bank branch yesterday. They caught them not long after, thanks to the identification of a getaway car. The Little Rock Zoo announces it has some new inhabitants. They are yellowback dikers. These are African antelopes. They hope to breed these animals at the zoo. They're a little bit shy, so look for them in the brush, the zoo says. And finally, if we open with Woo Pig, let's close with Hook 'em Horns. Texas, yes, Texas is more progressive than Arkansas, if you can believe it. The highway department down in Texas, they call it a Department of Transportation, and they do care about transportation as well as highways in Texas, is looking at tearing up a freeway in downtown Dallas, replacing it with a boulevard. They say this will open up many acres for commercial and residential development. Some people have suggested this for Little Rock rather than a 12-lane freeway through downtown, but the highway department here says, oh, don't be silly. What kind of backward thinking is that? Arkansas, you know, leads the way. Not in comparison with Texas, however. Hook 'em. I'm Max Brantley. I'll be back tomorrow.